So I'm going to get started. I'm just going to share my screen and review a little bit of the photo filters feature, and then I'm going to hand it over to Josh, and he's going to go over how to add in some of those geo alerts, and that's going to help a lot with the social distancing stuff going on. And we actually did last week have two people on, Joanna Renoth and Vanessa Scott from the Appleton Museum, and Joanna is from Your Tours, and we had them just talk about their sectors and kind of what they're looking at for reopening. So if you were interested in seeing that, that's just a reminder that that's on our YouTube, and you'll be able to kind of hear what they're implementing and kind of how they're augmenting the apps. And one of these great things in terms of social distancing is also these geo alerts if you're gonna think about doing it for a tour, and then also as well as just out and about and letting people have that updated content right to their phone. So I will share my screen and I will go over the photo filters. As of right now, the photo filter is actually only something that's available on the OnCell platform. We've discussed in the past that we are trying to get those types of features onto our newest platform, which you can also see. We did a tutorial on that 2 weeks ago, I think, and that one is also on YouTube. So you can see a little bit of the background on that builder as well. But we are trying to get more of these interactive gamified features on that platform, but it is not currently on there yet. So for anyone on my tours, you don't have access to the photo filter now, but hopefully down the line that will be implemented. So I'm just going to go through a little bit on how to make those. So if you want to see the photo filters and when they're completely done, you could download the Find Your Independence app. This is an app we talk about a lot. This one is really great for kids of certain ages and for social media sharing, just as something fun to do. And like I said, if you download this, you'd actually be able to try out these photo filters for yourself. This is a free app, and you just have to look at it in the Google or Apple Play Store. Or Google Play or Apple Store. And then the one thing that we talk about the photo filters is they're not available in the web app. So that's why you have to download the app, unfortunately. And I can't show you on my desktop what they're actually going to look like. So you would have to actually download the app physically to kind of try those out on other apps. So this is one that we had designed just for the NAI conference, just something to keep in mind that we can help you design them. We can design them for you. They're not very complicated. So if you did want help designing it, just reach out to your client manager and they'll reach out to me, and I can help out, maybe map out a design, or I normally create them on Canva, but I'm also going to show you how to create them on Canva as well. So this is another one we did, just really simple framing, and this is just elements taken from Canva. Canva is a software that a lot of people use for graphic design stuff. You can make anything from wedding invitations to flyers to, we use it for some of the designing for our on-site signage, business cards, anything you can really think of, you can use on Canva. So this is why I tell people it's really a much easier Photoshop. Photoshop, obviously, for actual photo editing and stuff is a lot better, but if you're looking to do something simple and you're looking for elements that already exist, like this ghosts and stuff, that's all available on Canva. This is what I tell people to use. It's really, really simple and can be done within a half hour if you know how to work Canva a little bit. So I'm going to just go over to Pixlr here. I'm going to go to Pixlr first because I wanted to show everyone how to actually kind of isolate a logo. So I'm only going to show you how to do a photo filter with an actual logo today, with just the logo. And then I'll show you how to implement that in the builder itself. So that's basically why I'm going to take you to Pixlr. And I use Pixlr X just because it's free and it's the simplest just to really quickly get rid of this white background. So when I go to the cutout tool, I'm going to go to the magic cutout and I'm going to go to remove. And then I'm just going to take away these white parts just by clicking them. Really, really easy. And I'm showing you this just because a lot of people are like, oh, well, we don't have a transparent logo in a background, and a logo could be kind of just a cool idea as one of your photo filters. Once you have access to these photo filters, you can have as many as you want, really. So that's why just maybe having one logo one is a cool idea for social media sharing. We also tell people normally to save it as a PNG just because it's easiest and the quality is sometimes better than JPEG. Wait for that to download. Then I go back to Canva. Okay, so Canva, this is what Canva looks like. Like I had said, we use the paid version, but they actually have a free version, which you can pretty much do everything else on that we can do, especially create the photo filters. So over here, I'm gonna go to create design. And the dimensions I'm going to use are, and what you will always use in the OnCell builder is 1024 by 1024 pixels. And then I'll just create this design. Then I'm just going to take what I just downloaded and just drag it to here with this transparent background. And then what you see here, that the white background, that's where the photo is actually going to be. If you wanted this covered, that's fine. You can go to elements and you can actually pull just like a square, and you can cover just this bottom part, anything like that. And then you can also put this behind it. And it would show up if you did that white. So something to think about in terms of just designing the photo filters themselves. So to get that transparent background, this is why I always tell people to do it on Canva, because people are like, I don't know how to create a transparent background. Canva makes it very easy. So right now this looks like a white background, but when you go to download it, you do a transparent background and all that's gonna show up is this canvas transparent and the actual OnCell logo. So I'm gonna download that. And I actually have to go to my project to implement this one. And I'm just going to show you how to put it into the actual OnCell builder. So earlier I had created a page for the photo filter, just photo filter logo. I'm going to add the photo filter widget. And that is when you're going to actually pull that photo filter that you had saved. I had actually already saved this and labeled it, but that's what it's gonna pull from. And once it's done, it's going to look like that. And so that's essentially how to just create those photo filters the easiest, most simplest way, and then how to upload them into the builder. So something to keep in mind if you want more of a gamified interactive feature, that's a really good one, especially for social media. And again, it works really great for things like conferences, events. It's fantastic for, so if you were to have an event, an anniversary of some sort, even a location, a great one. A lot of people for tours on the OnCell builder will use the photo filters. You could actually maybe have it for a specific location or for a specific tour. Each one may be styled differently or designed differently. So there are different ways to kind of do the photo filters to kind of correspond with your tours or with your organization. But again, if you still need help designing that, reach out to your client manager, and that's something that we can discuss. So I am going to hand it over to Josh, and he's going to go over some Geo Alerts, and I'll also be keeping an eye on the Q&A and the chat function. So feel free to put any of your questions in there, and I'll be asking them throughout.
Yes, excellent. Thank you. So I know Geo Alerts are something that we've talked about on these before. And so today we are going to go through, setting them up, but also just kind of talk about some different ways that they can be used. I think most people, know the use case for them, just kind of part of your, your normal tour. You have, stops 1 through 10. You set these Geo Alerts up to trigger those points. So if I'm, walking, driving, biking, whatever it is, and I break that Geofence, it's going to trigger, stop 5 when I get to it. But some of the other things, that you can use it for, one feature we have are push notifications. So if you have a native app, you can send push notifications to everyone that has the app downloaded. But sometimes, that doesn't make sense if you are, just trying to really notify people in a specific area. We see that a lot through the National Park Service and the U.S. Forest Service. Trying to notify people about different trail closures or openings, whatever it might be. You can put, a geo alert around the trailhead or, wherever it makes sense for your site to trigger, a page that'll pop up with some information telling them about, the recent events. And then when that's over, you can, quickly delete that from the app. Something else you can do, hidden pages. So recently, we've seen people kind of switch from a free tour to a paid tour to try and recoup some revenue after being closed from COVID. So the keypad function is a way to do that. And then another way would be having a Geo Alert set up that triggers a page that actually takes you to some more content within the app. And then kind of along with that, those hidden pages can also be used for scavenger hunts. So if you have badges in your app, or maybe not badges, but just a scavenger hunt that you want to make sure somebody is actually where they are supposed to be, you can trigger the Geo Alert there. I know one app we've talked about on here, Hit the Trails, where they have badges set up at the end of the trail. They want to make sure that people are actually hiking the entire thing they say they are. So at the end of the trail, an alert pops up and triggers a page that is only accessible by that geolocation. And then along with that, is you can kind of hide an entire tour, which kind of mentioned for the if you're starting to charge. But we do have some customers that they want to make sure their tour is only taken on site, whether it's free or charged. They want to make sure you are there, so they can download the app, have some informational content maybe, but then when I actually reach the location, the main site, it pops up with the rest of that tour. So I'm going to start sharing my screen here and go through setting up those location alerts. If I could just get screen sharing ability.
Sorry, hold on. I'm
Okay.
trying to get it. I just have to remember to do that every time now because they upgraded it. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Is everybody seeing my screen here? We've got the OnCell builder. So two ways for setting up these location alerts. You can do them kind of one at a time manually right here through project settings and location alerts. So we've got some created here. So we can just go to add an alert. We'll select the page, and then we can put in the point here. So doing it this way gives you the option to do it either with the latitude and longitude coordinates, or you can just drop a pin here. So if we drop that, we can set our radius. One thing about the location alerts, the geo alerts specifically, is there is a minimum radius of either 15 meters or 49 feet. So if you are, an indoor museum or your points of interest are closer together than that, we recommend using Bluetooth beacons, which can pair with your native app. They don't work with a web app, but if you do have a native app, you can put in these beacons here, and then you can really shrink that radius down, to about 5 feet. But for this example, if we're doing a geo alert here, we've got our radius, so we can set it, whatever makes sense. For instance, if we have a tour of this Powder Mills Park here, we can set that, and then we just select, our page. So maybe it's an information page, about a closure or opening happening here in the park. So we can set that and save. The other way to add these alerts, if you have a bunch of them to do at once, it might be easier if you have a Google Map set up in your app. Any page that has those can be imported. So if we click into edit this map here, we can see we've got one marker here. I'll delete that and start over. So maybe you have, a scavenger hunt that's starting. We'll start it at the, the OnCell office. So that drops the marker down. And then again, we're just setting our page. And just like with your regular, if this is going to be part of your map, you've got your different icons and colors here. And then what you can do is just back to location alerts where we were, project settings, location alerts, click into here. And this time, instead of add alert, we're going to import alerts. Then it's going to load. It's going to give you the option for any Google map that you have within the builder here. And then you can just click, you can set your radius. So if we had, 10, 20 markers on that map that we were just working on, we could import all of them all at once. And then we can see our scavenger hunt start page now has a location alert set to it. One example, kind of that we were talking about this, Preserve Louisiana here, which we've mentioned before. They're ones that, they have this tour completely hidden. So this is their landing page. And you come here and there's really nothing within the app that you can do without entering their access code. And so another way to get around that is, you can have this page, you can have some text that, directs people where to go. And then when it's triggered by that location alert, it will take them, to that same page that this keypad is going to. So that is kind of location alerts on the OnCell builder. If anybody has any questions, definitely send them through now. But I'm going to transition over to our My Tours builder. And then on the call this morning, there was a question about the new platform, version 3, story apps, version 3 right now, soon to be story apps. So we'll touch on that as well. But with My Tours here, so we've got our different tours. And one thing that My Tours doesn't have in terms of these location alerts is the ability to do those hidden pages. So setting up these alerts does require those points to be on the map. So if we've got our three stops along the tour, we can switch over to our plot stops on a map section. Brings up our map here. We can zoom in. So initially, to put this on, you're just dragging it over. So we drag and drop it. And then once it's on the map, we can click on it. Gives us, the latitude and longitude points, so we can change this if, it's not exactly in the right spot. You do also have the option for some custom markers here. But then setting up that geofence, if we click on it, gives us the option to toggle it on or off, and then set that radius. So this is in meters. So again, same kind of limitations, 15 meters, 49 feet as the minimum. But one thing you can do here is set this custom geofence latitude and longitude. So let's say, our marker here is at the top of the lake, but maybe, you don't want it to trigger. So right now, the radius would be just around here, but if you don't want it to trigger, on this west side, for whatever reason that might be, you can set a custom geofence latitude and longitude to push it, out here. So if we knew, the latitude and longitude coordinates for this Smith Road intersection here, we could actually set with those custom options, set it to be, somewhere off to the side to only trigger coming that way. And then again, same with OnCell, if it's less than that, we've got the beacon option to trigger, if it's below 49 feet, 15 meters. And then finally, our third platform here, similar to the current My Tours version, where they do have to be on the map. So if you have, your content here, The maps are tour based. So if you've got, we've got our two tours here, we can click in to it, gives us our overview, we can add our stops, but then switch to the map here. And then if we take this test page, again, we can just drag and drop it. So if we've got Seneca Park here, we can click to edit, and very similar to the current My Tours mapping, we can change the latitude and longitude right here, put in your radius. This is going to have something still in the works, but have this angle option and then these altitudes. So this would be, I guess, if your marker is up on a hill or a mountain, you can change the altitude here. And then if you want it just directional, so similar to that, the custom geofence on the current My Tours version, if this were, out on the road here, and you only wanted to trigger while going west, you could set it so that angle only triggers when they're coming from east to west and not the other way. The other thing you can do if you're adding these markers, you can search for a location. So we can just search. So if we're going to put this, maybe we're going to put it in Portland, Maine, we can search and just quickly jump over there and then drop that marker. And I thought I saw, was there a question that came through? Happy to answer some questions now. I can show any other with the screen share here, or we can stop screen sharing and just kind of answer those questions.
I'm not seeing any questions yet. And there was also a few questions in terms of radius and things like that. And there are other ways, like with the radius being 49 feet and that being the lowest for those geo alerts. A lot of people this morning had questions just asking about what do you do if you have like certain spots you want to highlight that are closer together, and the answer to that would be beacons. So a lot of people use beacons in museums. Those have a radius of 5 feet, and they kind of do the similar thing as Geo Alerts, where the content gets sent directly to the person's phone and it pulls up certain pages. So that's just another thing to keep in mind if you were having issues with that 40 something foot radius. All right, I'm not seeing any other questions, so I guess we will sign off for today. The questions that were asked this morning were a little bit more in depth on that radius, so I will probably be putting that one up on, okay, yeah, so it requires you to have a minimum of 49 feet, yeah.
Right, so that Geo Alert is, that 49 feet is the minimum that it can be. So anything less than that, we would recommend using beacons, which you can do indoor or outdoor beacons, depending on your site. And that can take the radius down anywhere, from 5 feet and up. So 5, 10, 15, whatever you might need. But with the GPS alerts, 49 feet or 15 meters is the minimum.
So yeah, so those beacons work, a lot of the parks use them, a lot of museums use them, but they work really well outdoor as well, because you can have indoor and outdoor beacons. So, okay, I'm not seeing other questions come through. So I will probably upload this morning's meeting onto YouTube if you want to review that one as well, because there was a little bit more in-depth questions on the Geo Alerts and the photo filters. But all right, so thank you everyone for joining, and we hope to see you next week. We're going to be sending out that survey again. So if there is a topic that you want to learn a little bit more about, fill out that survey and let us know, and then we'll kind of plan ahead for the next upcoming weeks. All right, thank you. Thanks, Josh, for the tutorial. Bye, everyone.